There's nothing quite like dealing for an ace. It's the shot in the arm that catapults good teams into the postseason. The Rangers have occupied the AL West's top spot nearly every day of this season. They are poised to return to October baseball. Enter Max Scherzer, a Cy Young winner and among the elite in his generation. He dominates opposing hitters, owning every inch of the plate. His competitive spirit permeates a staff. Max Scherzer is a Ranger, and he's determined to once again leave his mark on a pennant race.
Yeah, we are in Oakland once again tonight. Max Scherzer will have the start for the Rangers. Game 2 of this 3-game series against the Oakland A's. All right, well, welcome in, everyone. Great to have along with us this evening. I'm Dave Raymond with C.J. Nitkowski. The Rangers with a win in the opener yesterday, and now feeling really good with Max Scherzer going in Game 2. It'll also be the second start for Scherzer in a Rangers uniform. We saw him on that last homestand. So, CJ, what did you make of that first one?
I thought it was pretty good. I know he ran into a little bit of trouble in that first inning, but he got over it pretty quickly, and it was good to see. And not surprising at all. Aces know how to do that. He gave up 3 earned runs in that first inning for Max Scherzer, maybe getting comfortable first time in that Ranger uniform, and then after that it looked like the Max Scherzer that we know, going to that really good slider that he has. The off-speed pitches were on point for him. He settled down very nicely after that first inning, and you see him from innings 2 through 6. He retired 13 of 14, and so we like that, Max, and we'd like to see a little bit more of that one tonight.
And I trust we will tonight. The Rangers have a good thing going right now. Hopefully with Scherzer on the mound, they can continue it. Bring your green hats. The Rangers are streaking. It's their longest win streak in some 5 years. And we'll put that streak in the spotlight next.
Road trip continues here in Oakland as Rangers baseball on Valley Sports is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Game 2 just moments away here at Oakland Coliseum. Beautiful flowers this time of year. Can't even imagine that back home in Texas. All right, well, with another comeback win last night, the Rangers are 7-0 since the trade deadline and playing arguably some of the best baseball they've played at our Shiner Box Spotlight, not only this season, but the best baseball since 2018. The 7-game win streak has been phenomenal. 20 games above 500. That is also a season best. And they're currently 3 games over the Astros in the AL West. Bruce Bochy told me if he have to pinpoint their success, he would point towards starting pitching. That has definitely been a good part of this winning streak. All right, Max Scherzer on the mound. He will try to look to continue that with his second start with the Rangers. Lineups and first pitch next when we return right here on Valley Sports Southwest.
Valley Sports is presented by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts and by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better. Oh yeah, Championship Plaza, as it is known here outside the Coliseum. Rangers and A's second game in this series. It's where you find the food trucks here in Oakland. One of the great pregame features at the Coliseum. All right, it is time, though, for our Champion Energy Rangers batting order. The first place Rangers, 21 games over 500. Of course, it starts with Marcus Semien, goes to Corey Seager at shortstop, and then Nathaniel Lowe. Heart of the order per usual. It's Mitch Garver swinging a hot bat, catching Robbie Grossman in left field. And then Duran gets to start at third base tonight. Sam Huff will DH bat 8th, and Leody Taveras in center field rounds it out.
Now tonight for the Oakland A's, it'll be the left-hander J.P. Sears going against the Rangers. And while the wins aren't there, it's been a pretty respectable season for him. 2-8 record, but a 4.07 ERA. He has allowed, however, 25 home runs in his 121 2/3 innings. He is a fly ball pitcher with a ground ball rate of just 29%. With a very nice 226 batting average against, and the walk rate very good. The pitch arsenal,
pretty simple. Four-seam fastball that sits at 93 miles an hour. He's got a really good sweeping slider, just a 207 batting average against that pitch. Changeup and slider in there as well. And even though the slider is the pitch that he uses the least, he's another guy with a really low batting average against his slider. We'll talk about that, no doubt, during the game here this evening. Let's go ahead and take a look at the Oakland A's defense. It's Tony Kemp out in left. Esteury Ruiz is in center. J.J. Bleday is in right. Jordan Diaz, Nick Allen, Zach Galoff, and Seth Brown left to right in the infield. And Tyler Soderstrom is doing the catching for the A's.
Well, Sears is just about warmed him up. Marcus Semien ready to get it started for this Rangers offense. Now, yesterday, not a huge day for the offense. 5 runs on 7 hits, but it was enough to get the victory. It is the highest scoring offense right now in baseball. 653 runs scored, nearly 5.8 runs per game. And it has been it's been a machine from the start of the season until today. And despite injuries, they keep finding ways to backfill those spots and keep this train rolling. And Sears' first pitch is fouled back for strike 1. So it's 66 degrees at game time tonight. I'm sorry. It is so comfortable here.
By the end of the night, though, it'll be chilly, right? 4 degrees cooler than in last night's ball game. We dropped about 9-10 degrees by the time we saw the final pitch of the game. So we're talking at that pace, it could be down to 56, 57.
Yeah, it probably will get down there too. It was cold this morning, so I mean, that's just kind of the vagaries of the Bay Area as that fastball runs inside. 1-2 on Marcus Semien. It seems, frankly, cruel to talk about it, but it is lovely. I know it's smoking hot back home. Kind of like Semien's bat, 278 average with 18 home runs, and he shoots that one foul. Stays 1-2. Marcus, 7th in the league with 71 RBIs. That continues to be an amazing trend for him. His ability not just to get on base, he's done a great job there, run the bases well, scored a ton of runs, most runs in the league, but he'll drive him in too, and he swings and misses here. Semien strikes out to start the ball game,
and that's on the slider from J.P. Sears. Pretty good one there to kick this game off, and something that, again, we'll keep an eye on tonight, as it looks like he's having a little bit of an issue with the pitch comp, but that is perfectly located at 83 miles an hour.
So first out of the game for Sears. And now Corey Seager. And Corey takes a pitch right on the corner. Well, I guess it has to be on the corner.
And it was the slider. If you notice that note right there on the Bally bar, the 073 batting average against his slider. That is the best in baseball among big league starters.
Strike offering, and that one is rolled through the right side. That's a base hit. So Seager is on, has his first hit of the night.
The first baseman, number 30, Nathaniel Lowe.
I gotta tell you, I can't really tell the difference so far between J.P. Sears' sweeper and slider. They look pretty similar, and that one registered as the sweeper. Earlier it was the slider, and we don't see a lot of depth necessarily on the slider. Corey Seager on it, though, and finds himself a hole on the right side for that base hit.
First base runner of the night for either team. Nathaniel Lowe, the batter, and he takes off the plate. Lowe now 3rd in the league with 30 doubles. Continues to get on base at a very impressive 374 clip. That's 5th best in the American League. Sears with a long hold, and this one bounced first base. Scooped cleanly by Brown. He'll go to second for the 1 out, but can't get it to first in time. So they force out Seager. 3-6 the put out, and they're 2 away.
We mentioned not a lot of ground balls for J.P. Sears, but he's gotten 2 in this inning. One was a base hit by Corey Seager, and here he gets Nathaniel Lowe to hit one on the ground. It was going to be a tough double play to turn. So far, Ranger hitters getting on top of the baseball here against Sears.
Now Adolis Garcia. Garcia 1 for 4 with a double last night, also walked. And he'll take strike one. .29 home runs, third most in the American League. He leads the league with those 89 RBIs. And the 1-strike pitch. Swing and a miss. Adolis asks for time. You know, we're talking about the weather, and it is just a tad cooler here tonight than it was yesterday. And last night we discussed this briefly, but you know, usually if the ball's going to carry, it's going to carry in the early innings here before it does get too cold. And this is a guy in Sears the Rangers figure they will hit a home run or two against, given the numbers. That's turned foul. When he's given up the 25 home runs, only one pitcher in the American League who's given up more. Aaron Nola in the National League has allowed 26. So he's allowed the third most home runs in baseball. Two-strike pitch. And he strikes out Garcia. The 2 strikeouts in the inning. Rangers will leave a man. Go scoreless in their half of the first. And now Max Scherzer ready to get after it on the mound. Here comes Oakland, the Athletics 32 wins, 81 losses. And they are 35 games out in the division. It'll be Tony Kemp leading it off in left, J.J. Bleday in right, Zach Geloff, Brown, Soderstrom, and Diaz in the middle. Diaz at third. Brent Rooker back in the lineup today. He's the DH. Nick Allen at short, and Esteury Ruiz in center field bats ninth.
And it's Max Scherzer going tonight for the Rangers. Second start since the trade deadline. Overall this year, 10-4 record in his 20 starts, 19 in New York and 1 here with the Rangers. 7 ground ball double plays behind him. A little bit more of a fly ball pitcher, we know that, and a strikeout pitcher. And for Max Scherzer, 4-seam fastball, slider, changeup, curveball, and cutter all in the mix for the right-hander.
All right, so he's set to go. And the right-hander's first pitch, that one in there, strike one, 93 miles per hour with the fastball. Kemp, the veteran leadoff man tonight, and he's in a hole 0-2. Yesterday batted 8th for Oakland. So today bumps back up to the top of the order. He's like a lot of these Athletics hitters, he's moved all around the lineup. It was a very slow start though for Tony Kemp. He has since turned it back on and become the pesky hitter that we've known him to be over the years. 0-2, and that's high. Now there aren't a lot of A's with a lot of experience against Scherzer. Kemp 0 for 3 against him. And he bounces this one down to first. That stays fair. Lowe has it. He'll go to the bag. And that's the first out of the inning.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the Rangers defense. It's brought to you by Rally House. Robbie Grossman, Leody Taveras, and Adolis Garcia in the outfield left to right. On the corners tonight, Ezekiel Duran and Nathaniel Lowe. Up the middle, Corey Seager and Marcus Semien. And Mitch Garver is catching Max Scherzer tonight. It's the exact same lineup, right, from last night.
Yeah. Well, yeah, defensively. All around. There's a bouncer, second base. And Bleday retired on 1 pitch, so a couple of ground balls here early. Good start for Max Scherzer, and now Zach Geloff will be the batter.
And all 4-seam fastballs of the 5 pitches that we've seen here from Max Scherzer. And it's kind of an old adage, if you can kind of get through the order without showing the breaking stuff, or at least, you know, say holding it back to some degree, it's always kind of position A if you can save it.
First pitch swinging, and this one is down the right side, foul. Geloff aggressive, just as Bleday was before him. Geloff 5 home runs. along with 6 doubles. That's just his 21st start in the big leagues. And he takes low. Gelof, he was called up on July 14th. He's been the everyday second baseman since then. Doubled last night. And he takes away. There's a crisp fastball there at 95.
Fastball looks live. It's got some good carry to it. The swings that Tony Kemp took at 94, 95, he swung at him like they were 100.
Scherzer has what he wants, the 2-1 pitch. And that one misses. So the slider, a little trouble catching that outside corner. 3-1.
First one of the night. I think some pretty good break there for Max Scherzer, but trying to get it on the corner and thinking about Gelof maybe in swing mode when he's ahead in the count. No.
Ooh, boy, good fastball, but just missed. Gelof takes the walk.
Yeah, Scherzer did not like this call, and I think I would agree here. First look at that fastball looked like it caught the corner. Good job by Mitch Garver to present it. And you can see even Mitch Garver kind of tilting his head to the side there, a little bit surprised that they didn't get that call.
Man on, here's Seth Brown, left-handed hitter. And he'll take a fastball for a strike. Brown a 222 average for the year. 1 for 3 yesterday with a double. A lot of room down the third baseline for him. As Duran plays over more like a shortstop. That's fouled off. 0-2 on Seth Brown.
Scherzer this year has done a pretty good job holding potential base stealers. 7 stolen bases against him, 1 caught stealing. All those with the New York Mets.
Well, trying to make it a scoreless first inning. There's 0-2. That's in the dirt. It's a changeup again. He's the active leader in career strikeouts right now in baseball, 3,323 of them. And you can add another. Brown couldn't stop himself, and that strikeout ends the inning.
Yeah, good changeup here from Max Scherzer to finish off Brown. Check out the movement on this pitch. Started on the corner and just kept going, and Brown couldn't stop himself.
Mitch Garver, boy, has he loved hitting against left-handed pitching. A 395 average with some pop. Equals an OPS over 1,000 for Mitch Garver. And as he's gotten regular playing time recently, man, has he taken off at the plate. He leads off here against J.P. Sears. And the first pitch, that one a sweeper in there, strike 1. Garver yesterday had 3 more hits, including a couple of doubles. Drove in 2. And he's working on an 8-game hitting streak. Now quickly though, 0-2 on Garver. So he's had to step up as the everyday guy, or the primary catcher for the Rangers, with Jonah Heim on the injured list. And it's worked out real well so far. The 0-2 fouled back.
All been done here with the Rangers. We're going to look back at this year and think about all the guys that had to fill in at certain times and how well it has gone. Thinking about Dane Dunning with Jacob deGrom, and Garver's getting his opportunity here with Jonah Heim down.
Duran, all the work he's done, whether it's Seager on the injured list a couple times. Now he's going to have to do the same thing with Young on the injured list and take over the primary duties at third. He's been a huge lift. You're right. The depth might be the biggest story this year for this team. 0-2. Garver takes in.
Especially at a time when you're seeing other teams right now, we're past the deadline. You cannot acquire anybody from outside your organization on a 40-man roster the rest of the way. And you're seeing injuries start to pile up and teams in trouble. Just found out Shane McClanahan's probably out for the year. And for the Rays, I mean, they have been devastated by injuries.
Garver pops this one up. Foul ground. And a great play by Diaz to stay with it and make the catch right on top of that tarp. And there's so much foul ground here. Those are the type of, I don't want to say cheap outs, but extra outs that pitchers can get here.
It's the only ballpark in baseball where this is an out and you have a shot at it, but doesn't mean it's an easy play. As you can see, Diaz finding his way. He knows that tarp is there. He knows he's getting close, and he reaches up and makes a really nice play.
Well done by Jordan Diaz. One away. So now Robbie Grossman. He had a double yesterday, a 1-for-3 night. And Robbie takes inside. Played a couple of years here in Oakland in 2019 and 2020. Robbie had the start yesterday in left field. Gets a start there again today. And he hits his ball hard down the left field line. That is a fair ball and bounces up against the wall. Grossman into second base, and he has a one-out double.
Well, you know J.P. Sears is going to come right at you. He does not walk very many hitters, and this fastball looked like a cut back over the middle of the plate. He was trying to go away. Robbie Grossman on time smacks this baseball 104 miles an hour off the bat for an easy double. Even though he's having a respectable year, it almost feels like there's some comfort, especially for right-handed hitters hitting against Sears, knowing again you're going to get pitches in the zone. It's probably going to be the fastball or that slider for the most part.
Ezekiel Duran, the batter, and he'll scooch out of the way of that one. Breaking ball that ran a little too far in. Well, Grossman out there in scoring position. A 1-0 from Sears. That's off the plate. 2-0. So I went with the slider. Goes back with a changeup. See if he gives Zeke a fastball here. Down on the count, 2-0. Seems likely. Probably what Duran's thinking, and he gears up for it, but he did not get it. He got the slider, and it's 2-1.
Yeah, and the one thing, of course, these guys have access to so much information is they can sit there and look at, pitch percentages and certain counts. And for J.P. Sears, 65% of the time he's throwing a fastball at a 2-0 count. And so you're right. Duran's thinking there's a good chance one's coming here, and instead he got the slider.
And that's up a little bit high. Slider again.
Safe to say a little bit of a tight zone here tonight. Those corners so far have not been called up, down. I thought the pitch that Max Scherzer threw, the walk that he had the first inning, was probably a strike, but on the corner. So that could be what we're dealing with tonight with Dan Iassogna. Tight zone.
3-1. Fouled away. Iassogna, the crew chief, veteran umpire, and yeah, we'll see. Early returns might be a little tight.
So this becomes interesting now for Duran because a couple of times he's been in hitters counts and not getting fastballs. And now the full count.
Time called. Zeke asked for time, and it was granted. Well, Big Sam Huff waiting on deck. Chance to get that first run of the night right here. There's a 3-2 from Sears. And a foul ball.
He does not want to give in, right? There's a changeup, and that's a good one. 3-2 right on the corner, and so far showing Ezekiel Duran that he's just not going to give in with a fastball. This changeup. That is a good one and a full count.
So 7th pitch of the at bat right here. 3-2, and this one is the fastball, and it's lined to center. That gets down base hit. Here comes Grossman. He scores easily, and the Rangers do get that first run of the night. Duran delivers with a soft liner to center, and it's 1-0.
And probably why he did not want to go to the fastball. Ezekiel Duran was on it, puts together a really good at-bat after fouling off a tough changeup. Gets the four-seam fastball. Good look at the grip right there. He got jammed just a little bit, and again, probably some unintended cut on that four-seam fastball, but enough here for a base hit and an RBI.
Well, the Rangers get that first one of the night, and now Sam Huff, big, strong right-handed batter, and he'll take inside, and he gets a heater right out of the gate. Huff started yesterday as the DH, went 0 for 2. But had a 3-hit game the other day back home against the White Sox. He hits his ball sharply past third. That's a base hit. Duran stops at second. Third straight hit in the inning.
Now batting the center fielder, number 3, Leo Taveras.
Good piece of hitting here from Sam Huff. This is the changeup from J.P. Sears, and once again, a ball coming kind of back over the plate. Threw one earlier. We saw to Duran that stayed on the outside corner, but he could not get that changeup to stay, and that gave Sam Huff an opportunity to pull that baseball.
So Scott Emerson out there to just pause the action for a moment here. Give Sears a chance to straighten it back up, and see a little frustration there on the face of J.P. Sears, a Texan, born in Plano, now lives down south there in the Woodlands, and he was acquired by the A's from the Yankees. And that Frankie Montas deal. Montas and Lou Trevino back at the trade deadline last season. Duran second, Huff at first. Here's Taveras. Pitch from Sears inside. Well, the Rangers happy to get that first run of the night, but now in a spot where you want to get a little greedy. Got some traffic and a chance to really catch in a big inning early. And that ball's hit hard but foul. 1-1. Leone, you see the 11 home runs for him. He had a stretch where he was kind of the power guy. The month of June, he was sort of the big power hitter. He had 7 home runs in June, and that led the team. But pretty clear that was the majority of his big run. The next pitch, a swing and a miss. Taveras strikes out. 2 away. About a moment now for Baylor, Scott and White.
Doc says you're good.
Marcus Semien now with a couple of base runners out there. Sears gets him to swing and miss. Strike 1.
Might have caught a break there. That was a sweeping slider, sat right in the middle of the plate. And Marcus would love another shot at an off-speed pitch there. For the most part, Sears has done a pretty good job keeping that ball down and keeping it in or in off the plate to the righties.
One strike pitch. Just a little low. Well, Marcus, you see the 16-game on base streak. He's been really productive. Went 0 for 3 yesterday, but a couple of walks. It snapped what was a 7-game hitting streak. He's had trouble with Sears in the past. He's now just 1 for 12 against him. It's tight, 2-1. Now the one hit was a home run, but by and large, Sears has been able to handle Marcus Semien pretty well. Two one, and it's on the ground, deep, it's short, and the throw back to second, not in time. Everybody's safe. A good play by Allen to get to the baseball, and the only play he had was to try at second. But no chance, as deep as that was in the hole. The bases are loaded.
He did a good job making sure this ball didn't get to the outfield, because if it does, it's a run. This is a risky throw, though. Probably does not have time to get Sam Huff, and if the throw's not on line, it's going to go into right field, and the Rangers are going to score at least a run. So it worked out fine because the throw was on the money, but they had no chance to get Sam Huff.
So now they're loaded for Seager. And he holds off on a fastball. Good numbers for Corey Seager with the bases loaded. I gotta believe every single hitter on the planet knows when he comes up what kind of an opportunity this represents. And you must salivate at the prospects of being able to drive in, let's say, 4 runs with one swing. 1-1 to Seager. Corey had a base hit in the first inning, had 2 hits yesterday, including a double. One. Strike 2.
Up and in fastball, the sweeping slider always complements that well. Left on left, down and away. Or perhaps for Sears, if he's comfortable doing it, maybe even doubling up on that fastball. He's way ahead in the count.
The 1-2 pitch, and a swing and a miss. Got him with a sweeper. Seager strikes out to leave the bases loaded. Rangers get the first run of the night, though. We've played 1.5. The Rangers on top, 1-0.
We take a look at Max Scherzer, who is a family man, 4 kids, including a new baby girl this spring. He's also a numbers guy, a finance major at the University of Missouri, and was on the MLBPA union board for 5 years. And guys, it was fascinating talking to him, because this is definitely something he is passionate about. And he said, you know, I scratched and clawed my way up, so I want to be able to have a front seat at the table and fight for other players' rights. Really interesting to see Max kind of take court in the clubhouse, talk about all the rules and everything that is important to him.
And you got to have guys like that in your clubhouse to pass that information on to the next generation. It's a really important part of what the Players Association does, but it is on the players that you're around all the time, and to be able to have those conversations, it's big. And, you know, some guys are into it and want to learn all about it. Some guys, you know, just not for them, understandably so. It's a lot of information. There's a lot of detail in there. He certainly has been one of those guys as a leader, even though he's not on the executive board anymore. He still has a ton to offer to his teammates, but especially the young ones. The union always preaches to the younger players. Learn what's going on, understand the history. Obviously, we just went through the lockout last year, all that good stuff. And there's a lot to learn.
High ball, center field, playable for Taveras. 1 away. Well, the other day when he was talking about that time and, you know, just being a part of it during the last CBA and just all that it required of him and everything, the question came up, well, would you do it again? He loved doing it, found it very interesting, but as he pointed out, he's like, you know, it's time for the next generation, right? I can't fight for the new guys, right? It's their turn now to battle for their interests. And he's outspoken, Scherzer, about the new rule changes and those types of things. He's still harping on the clock, doesn't like it. He wants to see ways baseball could maybe revalue the starting pitcher role a little bit more. He has some really intriguing thoughts on that, tying either penalties or rewards to a team getting their starters deeper into ball games, making them a bigger part of the game now. As that one is outside. 1 and 2.
Like if your starter goes
6 innings, let's say, He said
three
it's not
more
so
outs
much,
at the end of the game.
well, yeah, right. No, he was like, it's not so much the length per se, right? But a qualified start is how he puts it. So, you know, when you lose your starter, you know, some people have said, well, maybe there's a rule, you know, you tie the designated hitter to the starting pitcher, right? So you take your starter out, you lose your DH. Okay, well, fair enough.
And that was out there before we even went to the universal DH. The idea
Right.
of the DH only staying with your starter.
Yeah, and it's there's something there, right? I mean, I don't know how much you really lose when you take your starter out. If you're
the
taking
DH
out in
had
the
to go
6th, 7th inning,
Yeah, but if he gets knocked out in the second,
for sure.
and it kind
that's
of
an issue.
eliminates the idea of the opener.
It's a liner out to right field. Diaz retired on a really nice sliding play out there by Obalby.
He's played good defense all year long, and for Adolis Garcia coming up pretty big here on this sinking line drive, and you have it coming off the bat of a right-hander, so there's going to be some spin to it as well. And so when he's dropping down, spinning away from him, does a great job tracking it and hauling it in. But that would kill you, right? If you had the opener, couldn't use it.
So, and you can imagine this, he didn't like the opener. Rooker now the batter. There's a swing and a miss. And so he's like, okay, well, maybe you don't want to penalize teams by taking away the DH. I can see where we'd want to keep the big stars in the game. Well, that ball hit high in the air, but not going to carry. Goes out to the warning track for Garcia, and he hauls it in, and it's a 1-2-3. We'll get into a little bit more of Max's thoughts a little bit later. We go to the 3rd inning with the Rangers up 1-0. This is brought to you by Spectrum One. 3 great services working as one. Visit Spectrum.com for details. And what a run for the Oakland A's back in the 70s. 3 straight titles. Of course, 1989 Earthquake World Series. Is this one fouled away to get us going here in the 3rd inning. Lowe, Garcia, and Garver. People always talk about the big red machine, the Cincinnati Reds of the mid-70s. I feel like the early 70s A's get overlooked. Those are some really good clubs.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting, right? The Reds won what? Back-to-back World Series 2 as opposed to the 3 that we saw from Oakland. Was it 75, 76 or 76, 77? I count on you.
I think 75, 76, I believe.
I think so too. Now, was it because of the bigger name players, maybe?
Probably. I mean, they did have quite the lineup. Strike 2 there on Lowe. I mean, that was those Cincinnati Reds teams, I would say, like even the casual fan could probably rattle off a number of the starters on those teams. Yeah, 75 and 76. And Lowe stays alive. Ball and 2 strikes. 1974, the Reds won 98 games prior to their back-to-back World Series. And Lowe pops that one up, short left field. Kemp comes on, and he makes the catch. 1 away. How about our Choctaw Casinos and Resorts game within the game? Now, J.P. Sears has kind of been the anchor of this rotation for Oakland. Much better ERA than the rest of the starting staff. Batting average against appreciably lower. And he commands the strike zone with more conviction than the rest of the rotation.
They've needed him really badly to be the guy that he has been for them. Steady starter, respectable numbers. When you have the kind of rotation that they have had, we talked about this last night, a rotation that was on its way to a record and one that nobody wants, a starter's ERA that would have been the highest in the history of the game. But that is neutralized a little bit. When you're having a bad season, you don't want to be setting those kinds of records, and J.P. Sears is a big reason for it.
One to Garcia. And that is a strike. 1-2. Adolis struck out in the first inning. He's 0 for 1. the Sears 1-2 pitch. That's fouled away. So I suppose if I gave you a chance, you know, I don't know, 30 seconds to name as many members of the Big Red Machine, and they gave you 30 seconds to name as many members of those great A's teams, you'd probably name a lot more Reds, right?
I'd get exposed for sure. My lack of baseball knowledge, that's a guarantee.
I highly doubt that. 1-2 pitch. Garcia hits that ball a ton, high in the air, deep out to left. Kemp, though, has room, and he makes the catch. Garver headed to the plate. We check in with Leslie.
Well, Mitch talked earlier about how the playing time has helped him just get in a rhythm, and I do think some of the hitting is about that, but Bruce Bochy thinks it's a little bit more. He said it's all about the timing and the rhythm and all the things that you get when you get more playing like time like that. And he said, you know, Mitch was always in a tough spot too. You're behind an all-star, and we had conversations about that, but he has shown very good discipline. He has quite the resume, and he has done really well catching as well. He's caught 5 of the last 6 games, guys, so tomorrow they're going to give him the day off.
Yeah, I was wondering about that today too, right? How he's recovering when you get thrust into that starting role the way that Jonah did last year, and you're always thinking about it and trying to prepare for it, but nothing can compare to actually getting behind home plate and catching 9 innings with some consistency. It hasn't affected his offense at all, but it is nice to get that day off. Day game tomorrow for the Rangers. Early starters at 12:40, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, locally here. Back home 2:40, but then the early game tomorrow, and then the off day on Thursday. So it'll be 2 days off for him. And Garver hits that one on a line out to left. Now Tony Kemp makes all 3 outs in left field. The Rangers go quietly in the third. It's 1-0.
On the mound here tonight for the Rangers. How about active pitchers with games of 10 or more strikeouts? 111 for Max Scherzer. Chris Sale, a very distant second with his 80, so 31 short of Max. Personally, 110 short. Yeah, that was a big deal. Did it one time.
Is that right?
One time, like, oh yeah, look at me. Yeah, not impressive. 111 times Max Scherzer, 10 or more strikeouts in a game.
Goes with a breaking ball here to Allen for ball 1. Okay, but I do need to say, one time in the big leagues actually is impressive. I mean, it is.
To Max Scherzer, it's not.
There's a strike called. 1-1 to Nick Allen. Allen batting 8th today. 196 average. Scherzer needs 9 more strikeouts tonight if he's going to get to 112. Allen might not be at the top of the list of guys he's likely to strike out in this lineup tonight. That's a fly ball to right field. And there's 1 away in the 3rd inning.
Time now for some StatCast powered by Google Cloud. And take once again a look here at Max Scherzer. It's kind of fun to dig in. This last start that he had against the Chicago White Sox, 21 swings and misses, second most that he has had this season, and you can see them all there. A lot of those inside the strike zone, which is an encouraging sign. It's one thing when you can get hitters to chase, you get some swing and miss out of the zone, but if you can get it in the zone, that is always a good indicator that your stuff is live and working well.
That first one in for a strike to Ruiz, and Ruiz looks to bunt and pops it foul.
Like a little contest going on between Tony Kemp and Adolis Garcia. 3 straight flyouts to Kemp, and now we have 3 straight outs recorded by Garcia in right.
Two-strike pitch, and that just missed. Talk about Scherzer and the strikeouts. We mentioned earlier, he's the active leader in career strikeouts. And he adds another to the list. Ruiz rung up 2nd strikeout tonight.
And this is a slider for Max Scherzer, but this thing has got some serious depth to it. Think about the difference between that slider and the one that we're seeing tonight from J.P. Sears. His stays pretty flat. Max Scherzer's going straight down. That is nasty, especially when you're ahead in the count. You get some chase.
Can I ask why that is a slider and not a curveball?
That's a great question.
Because it looks just like a good curveball would look.
I mean, they have their ranges and what they're looking for with all the different kinds of breaks and spin and everything else. But I'm with you. Now you can see that one. That's the curveball there. That's at 74 miles an hour compared to 83 on the slider. So that's a part of it. But that break, I'm with you. The break on that slider had some curveball break to it at slider speed.
Here's a pop-up. Short left center. And Taveras gets there, and that'll do it in the third. So the fourth inning coming up here tonight. Scherzer in control, hasn't given up a hit yet, and the Rangers lead 1-0. Valley Sports is brought to you by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts and by your local DFW Kubota dealers. Together, we do more. Yeah, up in the Bay Area in Oakland, East Bay. And the Rangers have a 1-0 lead. Fourth inning here tonight. And the guy who scored that run, Robbie Grossman, he doubled in the second and eventually came around on a Duran single. And he'll take outside here, 2 balls and no strikes. Inching right toward that 60 pitch mark. Rangers hitters have made him work a little bit in the early innings. And he's very high here. Now part of it is he just hasn't commanded his entire repertoire all that well. There have been a lot of misses.
This at bat in particular is kind of interesting how he has missed as badly as he has against Robbie Grossman.
And that one catches a corner. Strike one.
He's a high pitch guy. Looking at his last couple of outings here. Last one he had against the Dodgers, 95 pitches in 5 innings. The one before that, 92 pitches in 5 innings. 95 in 5 2/3.
3-1 and Grossman fights it off. It's a full count. Yesterday, Oakland took the early 3-0 lead. And they got pretty good starting pitching from Ken Waldichuk. But once we got into the bullpens, that's where the game changed. 3-2. And Grossman lifts it down the right side foul again. And for the first time in many years now, you get that sense that if this game got to the middle to late innings and it became a battle of bullpens, that the Rangers would have the upper hand. For such a long time, it has always been Oakland. They've had good bullpens over the years. 3-2. And that's lined into left. Base hit for Grossman. He'll have his second double of the night. And this one, an easy one as he goes in standing. And the Rangers have the lead man on in the fourth.
And for Robbie Grossman, once again, it is against a 94-mile-an-hour fastball here from J.P. Sears after he fell behind in the count 3-0. He actually made some good pitches to give himself a chance, but this one misses location right in the middle of the plate for Robbie Grossman once again.
So another chance for the Rangers to add a run. Last time Duran eventually got him home. Our first pitch on the way, and it's a changeup. Pops it up. Back of first. And it's Geloff coming over from second, who makes the catch, 1 away. How about a message now from Choctaw Casinos and Resorts?
Fun, games, relaxation, or excitement. We've got all your bases covered at Choctaw Casinos and Resorts.
Sam Huff. He had a base hit in the second. And he'll take a fastball right on the inside corner. Boy, Sears, he really did not want to throw Duran a fastball first time up and got him on a changeup just a moment ago. He's more than happy to go with fastballs to Huff. And that ball smoked down the left field line. That's extra bases for Huff. Grossman will score from second. RBI double for Sam. and he has a multi-hit game. Rangers lead 2-0.
It was a changeup last time that he got a base hit on. This time it's the slider from J.P. Sears, who all of a sudden looks like he's fatiguing here a little bit in the 4th inning. You can see that slider in the location again once in the middle of the plate has been an issue, where early on we saw him putting that slider on the corners and locating it well, and he's had a difficult time here in this inning, 3 hitters in, locating his pitches.
So Sam out there for Taveras to drive home. Leote struck out his first time up, and he takes strike 1 here. Done a pretty good job against Oakland this season, though. That average just a shade below 300. Leote has hit safely now in 8 of the last 11 games, but that hasn't really translated to a high batting average. In fact, it's actually pulled the average down just a little bit. Oh, 2, and it's popped foul. I was mentioning his home runs earlier. It's the first time in his career he's been in double digits in home runs. Still a little ways to go this year, too. There've been stretches where he's looked pretty dangerous. And that's low. Well, that last view we had just before the pitch, from behind home plate looking out to the outfield, you get a real sense for one of the features of this ballpark that frankly has changed, I think, baseball in the East Bay, and that's that big Mount Davis out there. Monstrosity of a construction that really took the charm out of this park. The 1-2, and that is in.
Do you think the seats at the very top, they've been covered by tarps for years now, and they're never were, I don't think they were ever available for baseball, were they?
I don't know.
Maybe a little bit here and there, but either way, I know it's been years that the tarps have been on there. The highest seats, you think they're the highest in baseball, or would be?
I would think they'd have to be at least the furthest away from the action. Check swing. No, he didn't check it. Taveras rung up by John Bacon, our first base umpire. That's a strikeout.
Let's take a look at this from the side here for Leote on the slider. That is really close. What I didn't like about this, and of course all hitters kind of pull it back a little bit and try to be sneaky about it, but was how animated Dan Iasona was when he jumps out. I feel like when you see an umpire do that, as animated as he was, I just feel like that can kind of push an umpire in a direction to ring a hitter up.
Well, this ball smashed shortstop. Another diving stop. Allen is sort of first. Not in time. Heading to the plate. Huff, he slides in there safely. Excellent base running by Sam Huff to steal a run. And the Rangers lead 3-0.
A lot happening on this play, and great base running all the way around for the Rangers. Almost an amazing play by Nick Allen, once again going to his right. Watch him here. You're going to also get a nice look at Sam Huff running hard and not really hesitating much at all. The throw was in the dirt, and you see Brown, he just takes out a half a second to make sure he has the baseball, maybe thinking that the inning was over. And Sam Huff, he almost got caught there. He slowed down a little bit, but either way, it worked out well for the Rangers. Nice job all the way around, and I don't know how Boch feels about that. He's got his arm around him, and maybe wants to talk about that base running performance.
There's no reason to slow up there, of course. This one gets away, and Semien stays at first. Maybe Boch is telling him, yeah, that's how I used to do it. Good job. Way to show the world that catchers have speed, too. Well, he's got stories for days down there now. Everybody having a little fun with him. Listen, I think that's just excellent base running. Knowing the focus on the play at first, why not try and steal that one? I guess, I mean, it's a high-risk play.
No doubt it was a high-risk play. And I think that's part of the reason why everyone's kind of laughing a little bit. There's a lot of things that Sam Huff is known for. I don't know if base running is necessarily one of them. So whenever you see a big guy running hard and then stopping for a half a second the way that he did or slowing down, you get to have a little bit of fun with that as well.
Now he got the run, and now Seager hits this ball hard out to the alley and right. That's down and up against the fence. Semien waved around third. He'll score easily. It's an RBI double for Seager. And the Rangers now have a 4-0 lead.
This ball is absolutely drilled. Sweeping slider again in the middle of the strike zone. Suddenly J.P. Sears cannot get that pitch on the corner like he had been in the previous 3 innings. And he hasn't been very good against lefties. And Seager just absolutely hammers this baseball with 2 outs. Marcus Semien running hard. He also did a great job, by the way, making sure he beat out that infield single to keep this inning going. And so some good base running all the way around here for the Rangers in this inning.
3 runs across. Scott Emerson's conversation, a short one out there. It is another left-handed hitter now as Lowe comes up. Yeah, but for Corey Seager, his 31st double. He and Lowe came into the game tied for 3rd in the league with 30 doubles. So now Seager all alone in 3rd. It's Lowe's job to catch him now. And Sears misses Lowe. Well, no activity in the Oakland pen. Sears, the pitch count is not a real issue, although he's worked pretty hard here. He's just having trouble missing bats. And now they get some activity out there.
It took a little while to kind of saw Emerson go out there that we'd start to see some action. I mentioned the lefties, sorry Dave, for Sears have been an issue this year. Kind of surprising as good as his year has gone. How about these numbers here? Batting average is one thing, but the OPS follows as well. We just saw Corey Seager rip that double in first at bat, and then of course Nathaniel Lowe, the other true lefty in the lineup against the lefty, with an opportunity here.
Lowe fouls it back our direction. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Nathaniel has reached on a fielder's choice. He's flied out to left. This is 3rd time through for Sears, and we're only in the 4th inning. Right, here it is. And that's wide. Seager off second. Infield is back. And that's ball 4 to Lowe. A couple of men on now. And the dangerous Adolis Garcia coming up. It did start some activity in the bullpen. Adrian Martinez, right-hander, has begun to throw. I don't think he's anywhere close to ready.
And he doesn't seem like he's in any hurry down there either, quite honestly, watching the pace in which he is warming up. He just got called up today. Garcia had a pretty good pass at a fly ball that he just got underneath against Sears in his last at bat.
Fouls out one back. 0-1. Yeah, he just missed in the 3rd inning. But Adrian Martinez, as you mentioned, just called up today. Danny Jimenez, we saw him last night, right-hander, was optioned back to AAA Las Vegas. And apparently his velocity was down a little bit last night. Had some people locally here a little concerned. 1 strike pitch, and that's low. 1-1. Seager and Lowe on second and first respectively. Garcia's the 8th batter of the inning. One and two.
I mentioned the pitch count here for Sears, now 84 through 3 2/3. He had the big second inning where he was at 29 pitches. He's at 29 right now, getting ready to throw his 30th. And he said, kind of back against the wall here, trying to finish this one, but some mislocation has cost him. A little hanging slider here would be kind of nice.
2-2. Sears settles again, and there's a swing and a miss. He strikes out Garcia for the second time tonight, but that will not put a damper on a big inning for the Rangers. 3 more runs score. Once again, the rally started by a Robbie Grossman double. He's having a big night.
Back to Oakland. Rangers up 4-0 here in the bottom of the 4th as Max Scherzer takes the mound once again. And of course, you guys talked about it earlier, but very important, he feels like, for a starting pitcher to eat up innings. In fact, he doesn't like that the role is being diminished. Is pressure on them. Also talked to him about go further in innings like he did in his first start when he gave up 3 runs early, and then go further in innings and do more.
With him and with Max Scherzer, how important these things are to him and the ability to keep that bullpen intact. He understands the length, and he's a throwback in that regard, right? There's certainly a generation of pitchers.
Oh, hit hard. Deep to center field, and it is gone. A home run for J.J. Bleday. And Oakland gets their first hit and first run of the game. It's 4-1.
Four-seam fastball here from Max Scherzer. You're going to see the location. They wanted it away. It was away. Maybe elevated a little bit. Pretty good piece of hitting by J.J. Bleday to be able to hit that out to center field. Really, Taveras knew it. Turn around and watch it go. But again, I think that's the other part too for Max Scherzer, what Leslie was talking about. To finish that sentence up, there are a generation of pitchers that are almost being brought up. 5 innings is plenty, sometimes even less. There's guys that, hey, 2 times through the order, give us 4 and change, and that's okay.
Chopper to shortstop, and Geloff retired, 1 away.
And that eats at the older school guys, and I think you can put Max Scherzer at 39 years old in that category.
No question. And a big part of his thoughts about how they could manipulate the rules a little bit would be to, again, add some value, some emphasis to the importance of not just getting starters to go deeper into ball games, but really training starters in the minor leagues to go longer. You know, he feels a trend that I think a lot of people have sensed in recent years of, like you say, the 5 and dive kind of starts. And you know that as time goes on, that'll compress as well. 1 strike pitch. And there's a strike to Seth Brown. And that really does bother a guy like Scherzer. I think a lot of people who've been in the game for a while. And he'll just as quickly acknowledge that, like, he gets it. It makes sense. You guys got guys blowing 98 out of the bullpen with nasty stuff. Well, of course you want to use it. Brown pops one up. Back of first base. Garcia coming in, and he'll make the catch. Right in foul ground. Two gone. Time for a message now from Jack in the Box.
My classic sourdough Jack. It's named after your 2 favorite things, sourdough and me. Only at Jack.
Well, here is Tyler Soderstrom. He flew out to center field in the 2nd inning. And yeah, that helps you understand. It's been a little struggle recently for the A's catcher. One for his last 15 now. He's got a couple of guys going through some struggles at the moment. Scherzer's 1-0. That'll even things up. 1-1.
That cutter that we saw right there to Soderstrom up and in. We saw Dane Dunning last night do the same thing. There's a time where you maybe wouldn't elevate a cutter on purpose, but that is a good pitch to tie up a lefty.
Fouled away 1-2. That was interesting there. After count went 1-1, you saw Scherzer with 3 shakes and then go to the glove. He has a built-in device on the glove for the pitch comp. And it wasn't originally that way, but there you see it. It's built right into the thumb area. A swing and a miss. He strikes out Soderstrom, and the inning is over. Home run by J.J. Bleday gets Oakland on the board. A gorgeous night here in the Bay Area with the Rangers on top 4-1. Beautiful evening here. Our 5th inning brought to you by Audi. Big tankers moving slowly in and out of the bay here. Little boats working out there as well. Pretty special place up here. And the Coliseum not real crowded tonight. And it's been the case all year as they continue to struggle with attendance. A team that is headed to Las Vegas ostensibly. We don't know exactly when. That hasn't been completely codified yet. Adrian Martinez will be the new pitcher in the game, though, for Oakland.
And we mentioned just called up today. 11 games at the big league level for him. 5.7 ERA. 11 games pitched, 3 home runs allowed over those 23 2/3 innings. A bit more of a fly ball pitcher with a 36% ground ball rate. 2-seam fastball, changeup, and slider. And that 2-seam fastball averages 94 miles per hour.
There is that fastball in there for a strike. Garver leading off in this 5th inning. Rangers with a run in the 2nd, 3 runs in the 4th inning. And he's quickly in a hole 0-2. I should clarify maybe a better way to say the status of this Athletics franchise is not so much that it's determined that they're moving to Las Vegas. They have a deal of some sort in Las Vegas to build a ballpark. But I don't know the degree to which that has been finalized or baseball has signed off on it. That has not happened yet. 0-2. There's a swing and a miss, and Garver strikes out to begin the 5th inning. Still a ways to go for ownership here. But the fans, they're frustrated, and understandably. They do not want to see their team go. And we talked earlier about some of the success they've had here in Oakland over the years. I mean, it's a very history-rich franchise. Not just because they've had winning seasons and great players, though they certainly have. But they won 9 World Series, the A's franchise. Yeah, the great Rickey Henderson, the greatest leadoff hitter of all time. Won 4 of those World Series in Oakland, 5 of them in Philadelphia. And on cue, the fans now voicing their opinion.
Like you said, understandably so. There's some real frustration for this group. It's a very fun fan base, very eclectic, and somewhat similar to what we see in San Francisco. Obviously, we're in the same part of the country. One of our favorite things to do when we get here is see the people sitting behind home plate. It's always fascinating. It's like a party back there. It's like no other behind home plate in the game. That is usually, right, the wine and cheese group. Not here in Oakland. It's an imitation Marlins man with his hat on sideways. I want to check on that guy.
3-2 on Grossman. It's been a couple of years here. Thing is, like the fans that come out here, and I've said this in the past, you don't just finish up a fun dinner in the city and then say, hey, you know, let's go grab a game. There's strike 3 called. Grossman down on strikes. Martinez pretty sharp here out of the bullpen. You got to want to be at the Coliseum. You know, you make a special trip to get to this building because it's out in the middle of nowhere. And you're here for one reason. That's because you like baseball, you like the Athletics or whomever they're playing that night, and you want to see baseball. That guy, he's been coming here for a long time. Fouled away by Duran. A little lonely these days.
I think he's live.
Could be. Wouldn't put anything past him. I guess my point is these are good baseball fans who are here every night. And it's not like they never drew here. There have been excellent attendance numbers here. When they put a good product on the field here, Bay Area fans come out and they support the team. That's high, 1-2, and there's so much to the story, and it's no doubt a whole lot more sophisticated than any of us know. Revenue sharing and those types of things, and the economics of running this team. But for a lot of faithful, they feel like in some ways they've been duped, or maybe the full truth isn't always out there. And then, you know, the city's dealings with the ball club, who knows if they're giving us the straight poop. We don't really know. But it's been a contentious relationship, and it's apparently going to come to a close here in the very near future. A foul ball by Duran keeps the count 1-2.
Yeah, when we heard about the Howard Terminal project, the price tag on that thing seemed absurd. Was it $12.5 billion?
Something like that. It was a really, really absurd number. They've announced deals in the past, right? That like, oh, well, that sounds great, and then you find out, well, yeah, they didn't talk to us about the deal, like over by Laney College a couple years ago. And that's high. All I know is it's my opinion that Oakland A's fans, they're good baseball fans. They're knowledgeable. They love their team. They've had success here. And it will be a shame when and if they do have to move. The 2-2. Duran strikes out. Adrian Martinez takes a back seat to our story time, but he had a great inning right there. Strikes out the side in order on a gorgeous night here in Oakland.
By Audi, Max Scherzer back out for another inning of work. And one of the storylines with him, and it has been throughout his career, is how good his slider is. This year in particular, there have been some issues. The previous 16 starts for him, a couple of those with the New York Mets. You see that 292 batting average against, the home runs to slugging, not great. His last 4 starts, it has been much better with that low 118 batting average against and just the 1 home run. And he had said a game that he had against the Los Angeles Dodgers when he was a Met, there was a mid-game adjustment that he had made with the way that he was landing with that lead leg. That left leg was landing kind of soft, and that is something that every once in a while a pitcher may have to deal with, not realizing that they're kind of landing soft and the pitch didn't quite look the same, and he started landing a lot firmer, kind of took note of it, and all of a sudden that slider became the old Max Scherzer slider. The number that where he was with those previous 16 would have far and away been the worst of his career. Part of the slow start for Max Scherzer had to do with that slider not being quite the same pitch, but like any good veteran, found something to make an adjustment with mechanically, and so far, and this is now the 5th start that he's had with that slider, it has been much better since the change.
It's 1-2 to Diaz. It's inside. Diaz lined out in the 2nd inning. Well, even in his start the other day, his debut with the Rangers, slider early wasn't nearly as sharp as it was later in the game. And a little tapper foul. I asked him about it the other day. And he doesn't, Max is not a guy to get into real depth on some of the numbers that are churned out from analytics and spin rates and that sort of stuff. Though there was a drastic difference from the first inning on. 2-2. Here's a strikeout of Diaz, his 4th strikeout tonight. But he said part of it was just getting used to the mound. First time he'd ever pitched in the ballpark.
Here's that slider we're talking about. And I think it's one of those things, the adjustment that I mentioned in landing a little bit more firm with that front foot, you may not notice it. You have to really go back and look at some old footage and watch that. But you can see him driving that leg and making sure when you drive that leg down hard, it helps you to get out over the front of your pitches much better. And that one had some nasty bite to it.
Goes back to it right there. Strike 1 to Brent Rooker. It seems like he's starting to find a little rhythm here tonight. And there's a foul ball. 0-2.
And it's not just the mound, too, for pitchers. When you go someplace that you haven't pitched before the first time you take the mound in any ballpark, that is the most important part to feel. But then also, how does it feel? There are some mounds where you feel like, okay, this slope's a little bit different. Does home plate look a little further away? What's the background like as far as, kind of what you're seeing all around you and the feel there? And it can take some time. And then there's some places you just really never get comfortable. So it was good to see that Max Scherzer very quickly after an inning got comfortable and dealt at our home ballpark, because we're expecting to see a lot of that over these next couple of years.
That's 2-strike pitch to Rooker. Did he go? No. 1-2. Four strikeouts so far. He had the 9 strikeouts against the White Sox. And his 1-2 pitch, that's upstairs. 2-2. Rooker, meanwhile, he's had the big year. 18 home runs, 48 RBIs, an all-star. DHs tonight for Oakland. And he swings and misses strike 3. That time it was the curveball. And that's 3 straight strikeouts for Scherzer.
Something you and I were just talking about regarding the 2 breaking pitches. They look nearly identical. I mean, that one is a little bit bigger, but about 9 miles an hour slower on average. He's got the off-speed pitches, those breaking balls, particularly tonight, working well.
Now the fastball, and it's off the plate to Nick Allen, who flew out in the 3rd. 4-1, Rangers on top. 4 runs on 9 hits. The A's have had just 1 hit tonight. It was the home run by Bleday. That's it. And that's a foul tip. Just did get a piece of Allen's bat, and I have to send a thank you card to Dan Iasonia. Our plate umpire could not have been clearer about that. I appreciate it. (2-0). And a ground ball that's through into left field. Base hit. I'm sorry, the 1-1. It's grounded into left field for a base hit.
He has been pesky, hasn't he?
Yep.
And he was hot coming into this one. You mentioned it last night, and I think sometimes you take a look at Nick Allen, and not to say he'd look past any big league hitter, but for Max Scherzer, probably feeling like that would be a guy he would not have an issue with. But he's been good against the Rangers so far in this series, offensively and defensively.
Ruiz chases strike 1. He struck out in the 3rd inning.
I'd throw 2 more of those right there. That is the first pitch slider, and it's a good one. But Ruiz almost in the 3rd base dugout as he was taking that swing.
Challenges him with a fastball, and it's 0-2.
Now you're really in trouble. But it's one thing to stay out there and you think, okay, well, big league hitters eventually make an adjustment, and Max Scherzer goes in with the fastball after the breaking ball away, and he set up a breaking ball away here pretty nicely if that's where he wants to go.
Allen with the small lead, the 0-2 pitch, and that's popped up and will end up foul.
So I'm kind of fascinated by that pitch selection there, because he went with the changeup and kind of in the strike zone in an 0-2 count after He made him look really bad, and perhaps he knows in the back of Ruiz's mind that he's thinking about that slider, and it's been good tonight. 19 of them thrown and about 7 swings and misses.
We just called this pitch from his glove, the 0-2, and it's the fastball, but it misses. He doesn't always make the call with that pitch comm device on his glove, but basically with 2 strikes, a lot of times he feels like that's where he wants to dictate what he throws. 1-2, runner goes, the pitch is outside, that is ball 2. That's a stolen base for Nick Allen, his 2nd of the year.
It was a good jump, and it was a changeup from Max Scherzer. Just did not give Mitch Garver an opportunity to make the throw, and so he thought better of it. There goes Allen, good speed, changeups down. No chance. He has not shown that slider again since the first pitch of this at bat.
Well, here it comes right here. 2-2. No, he goes with a fastball.
Wow. He's making this really interesting to try to think along with a future Hall of Famer as good as he has been. He hasn't fallen into any maybe traditional boxes that you might think of, you know, kind of simplistic pitching sequences.
So what do you think?
I'm lost. Peter?
Oh, he goes with a slider, and it's fouled away.
That's why he has 111 games of 10 or more strikeouts. Playing 3D chess over there.
Well, so what must be going through Ruiz's mind? He's seen everything, and it does seem a little unpredictable. 3-2, and it's a fastball, called strike 3, and Ruiz down looking.
Well, he made it a battle after that first pitch slider, but that was really fun to watch there with Max Scherzer and the strategy he uses against Ruiz, and ultimately for a free swinger, he freezes him with a good fastball at the knees. Lineup tonight as the DH, and he's had himself a good evening so far. A base hit in the first inning, and then a double in the 4th, RBI double, and then the wheels for big Sam Huff on a play that almost ended the inning. Here comes Sam Huff all the way from second base on that ground ball. Slowed down for a half a second, and the skipper wanted to talk to him about that for a minute.
He pops this one up down the right side, and well fouled, strike 1.
So what was great about that is that the first baseman, Soderstrom, had no idea where the ball was. He was in fair territory chasing that ball, and I'm looking down at Sam Huff, and he's not running. I'm like, man, where's this baseball? And I was way in foul territory. Sam Huff knew where it was. The first baseman for the A's had no idea where that ball was, and it's a dangerous time of night in that regard as we kind of get to dusk here, so keep an eye on some of these pop-ups.
A pitch from Martinez upstairs. 1-1. Martinez really good last inning. Struck out the side in order. His first man in out of the bullpen after just 4 innings today for J.P. Sears. And that's strike 2 now on Huff. Second time this year that Martinez has been called up. He had pitched 11 times in relief previously, and he deals a little high here, 2-2. And his previous go-round with Oakland, not that great by the numbers, a 5.70 ERA. Two. It's fouled off.
And one of those times he got sent down after facing the Rangers. He threw 3 2/3 and gave up 5 runs, a couple of home runs in a game that the Rangers won 18-3. That was back on April 22nd. 3 2/3 in relief, as all the games have been for Martinez.
Infield back the 2-2, and Huff gets another piece of that one. He's had some good swings tonight. A base hit to left, a double to left. He has scored a run, driven in a run. So one thing Huff has proven over the years in the minor leagues is he's got a potent bat. And he hits this high in the air out to right, but Bleday has plenty of time to get to his spot, and that's the first out of the inning. We have time now to hear from Academy Sports and Outdoors. One out here is Leody Taveras. Leody, a couple of strikeouts against Sears, so even though Martinez has been really good so far here in the brief time he's been in the game, probably happy to see anybody other than Sears. It's very hot. Ball, one strike. One and two. So Rangers, they started the scoring tonight in the second inning, scratching out a run on 3 straight hits, including with started with a double from Grossman. They got 3 runs in the 4th inning. The top 4-1. And the 1-2 pitch, that's high again. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rangers have out hit the A's 9-2 so far. Pitch, and that is off the plate, and so good job here by Taveras to get himself back in the count. It's a full count now. 1 out, nobody on base. Martinez work a little bit, and he fouls off another.
Changeup has looked good for Martinez. That was a good one on the corner. He's thrown quite a handful of those here, and not afraid to throw it to the righties either. Got a little bit of kind of a funky lower arm angle that he has when he releases that pitch, and he gets some really good movement out of it.
All right, another 3-2 and another foul ball. So Taveras working here in the 6th inning. More to the point, Martinez really working. The right-hander ready again. The payoff and a bouncer. Second base. Geloff throws it to first in time. That's the 2nd out of the inning. So now the top of the order. Here comes Marcus Semien. I mentioned it last night. Marcus, a Bay Area kid. Grew up here in Alameda, just up the road. Former shortstop here in Oakland, 2015 through 2020. It was a long time, Oakland A. And really made his name here. Had the 1 year in Toronto where he just exploded on the scene. Finished 3rd in MVP voting in that 2021 season. 45 homers that year for Toronto. And he takes up and in here.
Yeah, for a while there, Marcus Semien was really hard to get a feel for what kind of player he was. It's kind of amazing. It feels like so long ago because he has been so consistent since then over these last few years. But he had that career year, signed a 1-year deal, went to Toronto, had an even bigger career year with the 45 home runs, and then of course in year 2 here with the Texas Rangers. But one of those guys that, through his early 20s, mid 20s, and even into his kind of late 20s, finding himself a little bit, trying to find that consistency, and he has been incredibly consistent since.
2-1 pitch, hits this one solidly to short. Allen, good backhand pick and throw to first, and it completes a 1-2-3 inning again for Martinez. 2 perfect innings under his belt. Last of the 6th coming up in Oakland with the Rangers leading 4-1.
Let's take a look at some fun StatCast data here. We've talked about the curveball slider comparisons for Max Scherzer, how the break looks the same, but the speed is significantly different. And think about a hitter and the difference in timing there, about 6 feet 1 inch that you got to wait on that curveball. And so you're gearing up for a good fastball. You're gearing up, of course, for the good slider. And then he flips that curveball once in a while, and you can see why some hitters would get way out front of that Max Scherzer curveball.
It works here in the 6th inning. Pitch count in a pretty good place. You saw him there just working on that landing spot again. Goes back to what you were talking about an inning or so ago. Scratches out that spot and now delivers this one down the first baseline. That's a fair ball. Lowe has it and throws to Scherzer in time, covering first. They get Tony Kemp one away.
And maybe some benevolence there from Tony Kemp. Looked like he slowed down just a little bit as he was getting closer here to Max Scherzer. And you can see Scherzer getting over and covering in plenty of time. It's a really nice play by Nathaniel Lowe, but that could have gotten a little bit ugly there in a potential collision. Watch Kemp kind of pull up right here and just kind of take it easy in the first once he realized he was going to be out.
So Bleday now, he's had the big swing against Scherzer. That home run in the 4th inning. 1 for 2 tonight. And that's under the arms for ball 2. Oakland a run on 2 hits. Bleday's homer and then Nick Allen's single last inning. Misses in. 3-0.
I'm starting to play now with that area, and you wonder sometimes you sit there and you get established in your landing spot, and at this point in the game you feel like it would be pretty well established, but some of that dirt can break away. And then if that happens, then all of a sudden the landing can become a little bit inconsistent. And Max Scherzer seemed very frustrated by the previous pitch, and now this one as he started kind of messing with that landing area on the mound here in Oakland.
Well, let me ask you this. You know, Sears a left-hander for Oakland, but when he left the game, the last 2 innings now, you get the right-hander Martinez coming in, and maybe he's landing in a similar spot or messing around with that spot somehow.
No doubt. I mean, that is always part of it. Now, these mounds, I mean, they're so well done that you can move that dirt around. It usually will kind of hold, not even dirt, really, that clay that they use. But it's a good point. Nothing more frustrating than when you're establishing the mound the way that you want it as a starter, and then the other pitcher is messing it up.
I mean, staring right down at this spot there as he gets ready to come set. 1 strike pitch, and that one's lined out to right field, tracked down by Obombi. He'll hop up, throw it back to first, but Bleday back in easily. A line out by Geloff, 2 away.
You wonder here if Garcia almost lost this ball the way that he went after it. Hard line drive here, hit off the bat. Let's watch him. He does a nice job pulling that ball in. You start to see just kind of that turn to the side a little bit. You wonder if he had seen that the entire way or lost it even for a brief second.
It's not a very well lit outfield. This one lofted out there to Taveras, and he'll make the catch, and the inning is done. So the walk to Bleday, the only blemish on the inning, and we go to the 7th tonight in Oakland. It's 4-1. Leaderboard. When you look at average exit velocities by hitters, Ronald Acuna Jr. of the Braves, I mean, he is outstanding. Olson, Ohtani right up there, Yandy Diaz, and there's Corey Seager. I mean, it's tightly bunched. Basically a mile-per-hour difference. Those top 5 hitters, and Seager basically puts about as much thump on the baseball as anybody in the game.
That's a great sign. And she's standing there holding it, and he's sitting down. He seems to be okay with it.
He's totally cool with it. Martinez out for a 3rd inning of work, and he's high to Seager. 6 down so far for Martinez. But Seager smashes that one deep out to right field. It is gone over that double-decker wall just to the right of center field. And that is a smash by Seager, his 19th of the year. And the Rangers lead 5-1.
And what pitch have we seen Corey Seager punishing here lately? He did it twice in the last series at home. Changeups in the strike zone, hitting them out of the ballpark. And that wasn't a bad one. You're going to see this ball turn over and fade away. But he stays on it long enough, barrel on it, and smoked.
Now low, and he shoots one foul. So Seager is a triple short of the cycle right now. Single, a double, a homer. One strike pitch, that's way up. 1-1.
As much of a struggle as it has been here in Oakland. How about that? First home run allowed in their last 4 games for this pitching staff.
Yeah, they've been playing better coming into this series. And we're hopeful that they can kind of hang around and maybe upset the apple cart a little bit. They played it tight last night. Rangers escaping with a 5-3 win. Now tonight with a 5-1 lead, and this ball's hit hard out to right center. That gets down, short hops the fence, and for Lowe, an easy double, his 31st of the season.
Two-seam fastball here. Going to see it run a little bit, but it's elevated. That gives Nathaniel Lowe that opportunity to get this ball in the air. Usually that two-seam fastball, if it's located down, it's going to finish on the ground.
So a home run and a double to start this 7th inning against Martinez. And it brings up Adolis Garcia. Nobody moving down in that Oakland pen. And a fastball up and out for a ball to Garcia. 0 for 3 so far tonight. RBI spot here for El Bombi, a chance to get his 90th of the season if he can get Lowe home. 1-1.
So now only Max Muncy has more home runs on changeups this year than Corey Seager. Muncy at 6, Corey Seager at 5. Tied with Gunnar Henderson and Jordan Alvarez, but 3 of them here in the last few days.
It's fouled off. Strike 2. It's been a quiet night so far tonight for Adolis. He's been held hitless once in the last 12 games, and his average has climbed steadily. 1-2 pitch, that's low. And Garcia has reached base safely now in 16 straight by hit or walk. He's walked more this year than in any year in his career. Time called now, and we will reset. Such a great improvement in the plate discipline and the walk rate for Garcia. He hasn't lost any power. He's 3rd in the American League with a .532 slugging percentage. And he takes high here. Full count. So all around just a much improved season for Garcia. Garver waiting in the wings. Also 0 for 3 tonight. The payoff pitch, and it's pulled foul. Entering into these late stages of the ball game, Rangers with a 4-run lead, but a chance to add to that. And Martinez steps off, so that's a disengagement. His first in this at bat. Rangers have won 7 straight and lead again here tonight. The 3-2. fouled away. They haven't lost since the trade deadline. The addition of Max Scherzer was a big one, I think, emotionally, and of course just in terms of what he can provide competitively. Jordan Montgomery and Chris Stratton to go along with Aroldis Chapman. 3-2 pitch and a swing and a miss. Garcia strikes out, one away. Of course, Austin Hedges. But I mean, the Rangers, they were a very active, aggressive team at the deadline. And it does seem to have put them in a good spot now. They played beautifully.
It's one of those things with the Rangers in particular, the addition of Max Scherzer going here tonight, providing a boost maybe that we didn't think the team necessarily needed or weren't thinking about very much, but he's brought a ton of energy and obviously playing a really important role.
A liner to second and a diving put out at second to force out low and end the inning. A nice double play turn there by Zach Geloff, and the inning is done. When the Rangers add to their lead, Corey Seager, another bomb. This one to right field, his 19th of the year, and it's 5-1 Rangers.
Is brought to you by the Texas Department of Transportation and the safe days of summer. Reminding Texans to buckle up, day or night, front seat or back.
In the East Bay tonight, Rangers with a 5-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Soderstrom, the batter. The first pitch from Max Scherzer, that one is taken outside for a ball. So Max Scherzer, 80 pitches into the night, and has not been pushed too hard yet this evening. He's definitely giving some innings. He'll field this little comebacker. He's lobbed to first and plenty of time to get Soderstrom, one away. As you may well know, you can stream every out-of-market Major League game this year live or on demand with the MLB.TV app. You can also stream all minor league games as well. Blackout and other restrictions do apply. Go to MLB.TV for all the details. First pitch here to Jordan Diaz is up for a ball. So just 2 hits for Oakland tonight. Scherzer's been really good. And runs that in. Ball 2.
This gets interesting here for Max Scherzer, bottom of the 7th inning. He hasn't gone more than 7 in each of his last 8 starts. He had an 8-inning outing for the Mets against the Houston Astros. He was really good against the Astros toward the end of June. He went 8 innings and only gave up 1 run, and he did it on 91 pitches. That's a good thing to have in the back of the mind if Scherzer gets a start. Only 1 series left against the Houston Astros, but he may get an opportunity to face them again.
2 now on Diaz. They announced our attendance figure tonight. 5,419. Tickets sold numbered. You see Scherzer deal tonight, and he has. A bouncer down to first, goes off of low. Caroms toward Simeon. There'll be no play. Diaz is on with a base hit.
You saying that as fact or opinion?
Fair question. I mean, I guess
I thought you saw it somewhere.
Nope, I assumed it was a hit, but you're right. That's a fair question.
I mean, these days it's tough to get an error called on you. That one, that in between hop looked like it kind of ate up low a little bit. And you can see his frustration. But I never. They gave him a hit, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. And it was hit hard.
It was, but not.
You didn't have to go and move too much left to right. And it hit hard enough again where footwork got a little bit locked up for Nathaniel.
But to your point, it's never been an issue where a scorer's like, well, he wasn't in perfect position to make the play. It's, well, no, the ball was hit to you. You got to make the play.
Yeah.
Scherzer's 1 strike offering, and this one hit high in the air to center field. Taveras makes the catch. 2 out. But the other point you make about errors this year is a good one. And it's been intimated by several people at various times this summer that something may be afoot. There definitely is a sense that it's a lot harder to get charged for an error today than perhaps it's ever been. Nick Allen squares to bunt, drops at third base side, barehanded by Scherzer. Nice play to first in time, and they get Allen. That's beautifully done. And what's he asking?
They could just be talking strike zone. I don't know. I mean, certainly animated and a little frustrated. I think he's mad that that was called a hit. No, I'm just kidding.
Well, he got the out. The inning is over. An interesting exchange.
Yeah, and Boach coming out to make sure everything is okay here, wanting to find out exactly what's going on. But how about Max Scherzer, barehanded play, throw on the money. Some excellent work here tonight against the A's with the glove.
(5-1) Rangers lead as we begin playing the 8th inning. Martinez back out there again now, a 4th inning for him. And he misses with ball 1 to Robbie Grossman. It'll be Grossman, Duran, and Huff in the 8th. 5 runs, 11 hits for the Rangers. 1 run, just 3 hits for Oakland. And the next offering off the plate, 2-0. Last inning, Martinez gave up the homer to Seager, the double to Lowe, but got out of the inning on a really nifty double play turned by his second baseman, Zach Geloff. And there's a swinging strike on Grossman, 2-1. Martinez brought up today after the team optioned Danny Jimenez to Las Vegas, and man, they're getting some work out of Martinez here. 3-1 now. Trying to save that pen a little bit. You mentioned earlier on days where J.P. Sears is their starter, they're hoping that gives their bullpen a little bit of a break. But he was unable to go deep today, and there's ball 4. Grossman is on to start the 8th inning. So after this series, it's off to San Francisco, that is to say just across the bay, and then back home. August 14th, 15th, and 16th, beginning of the week. So Rangers and the Angels at Globe Life Field. You can get your tickets right now by going to Rangers.com.
The Angels scuffling. They have not won a game. Did they win tonight? They're playing right now. They have not won a game in the month of August. They're currently beating the Giants 6-3 in the bottom of the 7th inning. So maybe they get that first one across the board as we take a look at Travis Jankowski pinch running for Robbie Grossman.
Duran the batter, and he pops this one up. That should be playable for Geloff, and it is. He makes the catch for the first out of the inning. Here comes Sam Huff. The Angels had some difficult decisions to make about their postseason chances. Decided to go ahead and lean in on the idea of doing some winning, not trade Shohei Ohtani, as some speculated they may, and I think it seemed anyway like they might have been entertaining the idea for a while. And I think close to the deadline, they announced that they would not trade Ohtani. But man, things have not gone well since the deadline.
No, and everyone kind of piling on now since they have struggled after the deadline. But I actually still agree with the decision. Too difficult of a player to trade. And Shohei Ohtani, like no other, trying to match up. Oh boy.
That ball hit high in the air down the left field line. And Kemp way over there, and he made the catch right up next to the wall. And that's a great play by Tony Kemp, who knows the dimensions well out there and knew just how far he could go. 2 gone.
Yeah, off the bat, it sounded like maybe Sam Huff had a chance to get this ball out of the ballpark. Then we realized he got under it a little bit, and that is a great play. Long way to run for Tony Kemp, and he does a good job of getting the ball in quickly. Throw on the money because Travis Jankowski, of course, we know can run. He was tagging up.
So he remains at first for Taveras now, who's 0 for 3. And Taveras hammers the ball center field. Ruiz is back near the wall, leaps up, and that one's off the fence. Extra bases. Jankowski got a great start. He'll score. Taveras into third with an RBI triple, and it's 6-1 Rangers.
Now, it's interesting. You talk about how we don't see the ball carry here at night very much, and it looked like perhaps Taveras was going to be a victim of that, but he hit this ball so hard it continued to carry. Good effort by Ruiz. He got up on the wall but could not get there, could not come up with it, and an easy triple for Leote. He was coasting around those bases. That was fun to watch.
He can move.
I think he thought that ball was going to get caught. It's almost effortless the way that he runs, but he moves quickly.
He's 90 feet away now from Marcus Semien. 6-1 Rangers lead. Marcus has been on twice tonight. Once, well, both times on infield hits. It's a dozen hits tonight now for the Rangers. And it's 1-2. We do get some activity now in that Oakland bullpen. It took a little while. 2 outs, 2 strikes, not likely to be a factor this inning. Kirby Snead, I believe, the man throwing down there. Here's the 1-2, and a swing and a miss. Oh, Semien strikes out. The inning is over, and they leave a man, but they've added a run. It's 6-1.
Max Scherzer on the mound for the second time in a Ranger uniform, and he was very sharp here against the Oakland A's. Breaking balls, both the curveball and the slider looking good. Good velocity, and how about the defense from Max Scherzer? This was a great barehanded play, just barely getting Nick Allen, and having a conversation with the home plate umpire, Dan Iasone. Still not sure exactly what this was all about, but it's Max Scherzer, and so we know it's going to be animated. How about the 6th time tonight for Max Scherzer, in which he has gone at least 7 innings, just the 3 hits and the 1 run. He is out of the game. Brock Burke now out of the bullpen for Bruce Bochy, taking over here in the 8th.
Deals high to Ruiz, 9th place hitter for Oakland. And then the lineup will turn over. There's a swing and a miss. 1-1. So 7 innings from Scherzer. And a fantastic, entertaining exchange with our umpire to cap off the night. A bouncer shortstop. And the throw to first in time, dug out nicely by Lowe. 1 away. That was well done.
Certainly was, and Nathaniel Lowe, we've talked about this all year long. He's been one of the best in baseball when it comes to the scoop percentage. And a nice high bounce here for Corey Seager, but a low throw and not an easy pick at all for Nathaniel, but he comes up with it cleanly.
So now first pitch strike in there to Tony Kemp now. Travis Jankowski stays in the game after pinch running. He's in left field. Adds a little extra defense for the Rangers. Burke buries that one 1-1. The only A's run came in the 4th inning, the solo homer by J.J. Bleday. Yesterday they scored 3 runs in the 3rd inning. But they've had a hard time really putting much of a rally together in any particular inning outside of those 2 innings in which they've scored so far in the series. In fact, I don't think they've had a man to third base in any of the other innings. 2-2. They have not. So they've scored in 2 innings in the series, but otherwise have not gotten a man to third. 2-2 pitch. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3. Kemp retired on strikes, 2 away.
Good slider here from Brock Burke, left on left, going outside of the strike zone, getting that chase there from Tony Kemp. And you can see him kind of peeling off. 13th strikeout of the year for Brock Burke on his slider.
First pitch swinging, bouncer down to first. Low, underhands to Burke, and it's a 1-2-3 8th inning. Very smooth as we move it along to the 9th with the Rangers up by 5. It's brought to you by Baylor Scott & White Health, changing healthcare for the better. And by Choctaw Casinos and Resorts. Aerial view of the Bay Bridge heading over to Oakland. 6-1 Rangers lead. The 9th inning is snuck up on us here tonight. Corey Seager will lead it off for the Rangers. Needs a triple for the cycle. And Martinez back out there again. It's 5th inning. A bouncer down the first baseline. And a nice play by Brown. They get Seager, but by a couple of inches. That one gets by, and who knows? Maybe he's got the triple.
Maybe.
Probably not, but maybe.
Cool number there that we just saw for the Rangers since the All-Star break with Corey Seager in the lineup. The Rangers are 11-1, and an opportunity here to go 12-1. Corey Seager having another big night.
The only game they've lost with Seager in the lineup since the All-Star break was that game against the Dodgers in which he hurt his thumb. He homered and doubled in that game. Had to come out. They ended up losing that game, and that's the only one. But he didn't play the full thing anyway. Lowe fouls off strike 1 here. Lowe has a double tonight. Also walked, reached on a fielder's choice. One strike pitch from Martinez. And that ball's shot out to center. Hit really well. Back near the wall, and that is high off the fence. That just missed getting out. Lowe with a ringing double in the 9th inning, his 2nd of the night.
I thought that one got out of here, but it did not. You got to clear that green wall here in Oakland. This ball hammered. A changeup to Nathaniel Lowe, 102 off the bat to the opposite field, as he's done really since he's put on a Ranger uniform. And let's see exactly where this hits. Oh yeah, the very, very top of the wall. Martinez looked like he was saying some prayers there and hoping that ball would stay in. It did.
So now Adolis Garcia, who's 0 for 4, has been held off the bases. And he takes high, ball 1. Rangers came into play 21 games over 500. That's a high water mark for the year. 67 and 46. If they can hold on and win tonight, it would match their win total from last year. They went 68 and 94. So in 114 games, Bruce Bochy may get this Rangers team to the same number of wins as it took them 162 to get last year. It's outside. 2-1. So of course 21 season only had 60 wins. They are headed in the right direction, and they're trying to get there in a hurry. 2-2 on Garcia.
And I feel like that conversation as we get deeper into the season, we'll start talking about some of the biggest turnarounds that we've ever seen year over year for this organization, going back to 1972 before the season started. All the big roster moves the Rangers made. So it gets some people saying, well, you can't, go from 67, 68 wins and then just win 92 or whatever it's going to take to get into the postseason. Well, it is certainly looking like the Rangers can do that and more. Still got a little bit less than 2 months to go, but it is feeling like a monster turnaround year over year.
Yeah, it's definitely, to your point, not easy to accomplish what they've done so far and what they're endeavoring to do. 3-2, and that is fouled away. We'll do it again. The greatest year-over-year improvement in terms of wins was in 1903 with the New York Giants. They improved 36 wins from one year to the next. 48 wins in 1902. They went to 84 wins in 03. That's low, full count. The greatest increase in wins year over year, pardon me, ball 4 for Garcia. The 1974 Rangers, the turnaround gang, Mike Hargrove, Jeff Burroughs, etc. The 1974 Rangers team improved 27 wins year over year.
So what was the total last year? 67?
68 wins
68.
last year.
So 27 would put them, what, 95 to tie that record?
Yeah. And they're pacing for a little better than that right now. Fergie Jenkins that year threw a little better than 328 innings. But his ERA was 2.82, so you know.
That's wild. What do you throw the next year? I'm going to go take a look at that. That is amazing.
328 innings and a sub-3 ERA.
Yeah, really hurt him. He dropped down to 270 the next year.
Yeah.
A 58 inning difference. Still an amazing number.
Probably went to winter ball to get his work in then after the regular season.
He had 5 seasons of 300 or more innings.
It's amazing.
Right up Max Scherzer's alley, as we talked about earlier today.
There's a 1-strike pitch, and Garver takes inside. Martinez might be fatiguing a little bit here.
I mean, look at that pitch count for him. It's pretty incredible. And we mentioned he just got called up today. And my guess would be with this kind of outing and you have an optionable reliever, he's not going to be able to pitch for a while anyway. So decent chance that even though he's pitched well here for the A's, he's up to 4 1/3 innings. He's only given up 2 runs. He's punched out 5. He may have to go back down. We'll see. But he has saved this bullpen, that is for sure.
Man. What a thankless gig, though. There's so many guys get pulled into that from time to time. You get the call, you come in, and you just soak up innings on a tough night, only to be then optioned back out. We'll see. The 1-2 pitch, that's high. 2-2. Double by Lowe. He's at second. Garcia with a walk is at first. Garver takes low. Ball 3. Garver's been swinging it well recently. Hitless so far tonight. The payoff pitch, and that is high in the air. Short left field. Kemp gets to it. Number 2. Now celebrate our first responders on Sunday, August 20th. You get a custom Rangers cap or challenge coin courtesy of Globe Life when you purchase tickets at Rangers.com/community nights. Brewers will be in town. All day baseball at the ballpark. You'll come out and join us. Here's Jankowski. Pinch ran in the 8th inning, stayed in defensively. And he takes strike 1. Good fastball. 96. He'll still bring in the heat. But missed with the ball. 1-1. Speaking of a little Rangers history, happy birthday today to Hondo, Frank Howard. It's his birthday. Born this day in Columbus, Ohio, 1936. Capital Punisher. Two-one pitch, and that is downstairs. I saw a note today about Frank Howard. I guess I wasn't fully aware. He was such a big guy. Makes sense that he was a great basketball player. Heck, he was an All-American at Ohio State and drafted by the Philadelphia Warriors in the draft after college. 3-1. And that's ball 4. Jankowski walks to load him up. And Martinez is given just about all he's got tonight. Now, and they're going to have to go ahead and go to the bullpen. So the base is loaded, 2 out, 9th inning with the Rangers up 6-1. And a move made by Oakland. Inside the Coliseum, other side of those lights, 6-1 Rangers with the lead, threatening for more here tonight. And we will be right back out here tomorrow to wrap up this series. A 2:30 first pitch. We'll have it all for you right here on Valley Sports Southwest. So Zach Neal is the new pitcher now for Oakland.
Yeah, right-hander. I'd seen him a couple years earlier, but the first time back in the big leagues for him this season since 2018. He'd been in Japan the last 3 years, pitching for the Seibu Lions from Flower Mound High School.
Jaguar?
Apparently.
Well, he gets Josh Smith in the 9th inning. Smith hitting for Duran here. And a pitch from Neal. That's inside. 1-1.
Did we ever get to the bottom of Josh Smith going to batting gloves? Is he doing it with any consistency?
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't dug in on that story yet. Noted though. We'll get on it. Fly ball right field, and Bleday takes care of it. So just like that, Neal gets that final out of the 9th inning. And now the last of the 9th coming. Rangers protecting a 5-run lead.
For the bottom of the 9th as Brock Burke tries to wrap things up here for the Rangers. Will Smith got another save last night, and guys, I love what he had to say after the game, that the chemistry in the clubhouse right now is at an all-time high. He said guys just love coming to work, and you can feel it. You can feel it around this clubhouse now. Obviously you can see it in the win streak. Tonight would be 8 straight, but you can just feel that these guys are having fun, that they get along. Even the guys that are newer like Aroldis are starting to settle in, and that this team really enjoys just playing together right now.
Yeah, winning certainly helps, that is for sure, but it's a good group of guys. It's a good character group. We saw that start to develop in spring training.
Here's a high fly ball center field. Taveras takes control of it, and Adolis lets him go. We'll talk that over briefly. It's all good.
Good to see it end on a smile and a handshake.
And a handshake, so we're all good. Always a smile with El Bombi. I got to tell you that I don't know why it stands out more to me this time than in recent trips here, but the lighting in the outfield just is not very good at all. As Burke gets that first one in for a strike.
And didn't you say for Garcia tomorrow might be his favorite day? Day games in this ballpark?
I didn't.
You didn't?
But listen,
I thought you told me he said. I thought you told me he said he loves hitting here during the day.
Well, I may have said that before.
Oh,
not tonight.
No. That's what I mean. But tomorrow is going to be his favorite day. Day game tomorrow. 12:40 local time.
Well, yeah, you got some numbers on this.
I was just going off.
I do remember this conversation. Now that you bring it up, fly ball out to right field, and that is the second out of the inning. So one more out remaining for Brock Burke and the Rangers to get this win streak to 8 games. And they have not lost since the trade deadline. And they came in with a 3-game lead over Houston. Houston did win their ball game today. So a win here would keep the lead at 3 games over the Astros. There's a foul ball. Strike 1 on Soderstrom.
308, 942 in his career in day games here in Oakland. 4 homers.
On ball, first base. That'll do it. Burke to the bag, and this one is over. And the Rangers have won 8 straight games since the deadline.
It's been an incredible run here. Great job by Max Scherzer setting the tone really throughout. The offense coming up big again for the Oakland A's. Probably threw out their best starter in J.P. Sears. The Rangers were able to get to him. And, yeah, this team right now operating on all cylinders.
Longest win streak since May of 2017. And they'll try to make it 9 in a row tomorrow. For C.J. Nitkowski and Leslie McCaslin, I'm Dave Raymond. Thanks for being with us. Keep it right here. Rangers Live postgame is coming up next.
This copyright